All right, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals. We have roll call, please.
Jerry Wood,
Here.
Vice Chair Smith,
Here.
Tony Spino,
Here.
Eric Sun,
Here.
Robert DeWitt,
Here.
Bill Murray.
Here.
All present. Let's approve agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Take a vote. We take a vote on that?
Sure.
Yeah, let's take a vote on that. Motion to approve agenda. Yay or nay? Yay?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Agenda is approved. And let's look at approving the minutes from the October 11th minutes. Anybody have any changes? Hearing none, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move. I'll second that.
All right, can I have a roll call vote on that too? Or, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the minutes are approved. Okay, so moving on to the public hearing. This public hearing is, generally we hear all the information and we may ask you a couple of questions. It's not to go back and forth with questions from the public, but just to hear your side, and that is what we're containing as far as on the record. The case here before us tonight, the applicant is Lakeville Animal Clinic, Dr. Glidden. Parcel address 3500 Lakeville Road, Oxford, Michigan, 48370. Parcel number 0519376007. Parcel size is estimated 2 acres. Zoning agricultural. The hearing. The applicant seeks a dimensional variance from the Township of Addison Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Addison Township Zoning Ordinance. Article 6, Section 6.04, Number 7A. States, the applicants request a variance for the placement of a 2,240 square foot addition to an existing structure. The variance requests up to 56 by 30 feet length of building addition on the west side and up to 23 feet and 30 feet length of building addition on the east side from the property lines. Article 6, Section 6.04, Number 7A, minimum building setback shall be 100 feet from all property lines. At this point, we'd like to hear from the applicant or representative. And just, if you would, state your name and give us a little background on that.
Patrick Glidden, I'm owner of Lakeville Animal Clinic.
Could you approach the podium?
I'm owner of Lakeville Animal Clinic. I purchased it from Bob Klepper back in '04. It's been a pretty solid business. We've seen a lot of people and some other folks as well. We have been growing quite a bit over the last, since we started. We've had some very, very steady growth, so we're really looking forward to potentially expanding the facilities so it could better serve the public and be able to stand up, sit down, and turn around in our clinic.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any questions that the board members may have for the applicant?
Do you know when this property was split, or created, the parcel itself?
I believe Dr. Klepper did that in 76, 78, somewhere in that realm.
Okay, so-
Because he originally bought the farm and then subdivided off the 2 acres so they could put the clinic on it. And originally he did it, probably planned on doubling, because he told me he was planning on doubling the size of it to the backside, so he wanted to have everything sized right and sectioned off for future use.
The reason I ask is, it's this,
I'd like to interject, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
And not to be rude, but we're going to focus on the variance tonight at hand and not the parcel size.
well, the only reason I mention it is that it's zoned agricultural, but it's a 2-acre parcel.
We are aware of that.
Well, of course you are.
Yeah, you read it.
No, I get it, Tony.
The permitted
Something-
uses are
Something
different,
happened
though.
that shouldn't have happened some time ago.
Yeah, so it's really a non-conforming use right now.
It's grandfathered in.
Yes, I understand.
And we're going to look at
Okay.
what we need today, in front of us today. I'm just going to take a quick peek at, I'm looking for my drawing. I've noticed, Dr. Glidden, that you have, once I find it, here we go. It's minor, the square footage of the building against the dimensions of the building is a little off. Is there, in other words, you have 30 by 70, which is 2,100 square feet.
Correct.
You have a little vestibule, a little foyer on the one side, and you're about 140 square feet, 100 square feet more than you should. Is that just a typo, or?
100 square feet more than I should. Could you elaborate on that for my
Okay,
front
so-
building? For the actual existing structure right now or the new structure?
Yeah, your existing clinic is 2,100 feet, which
Correct.
I don't know, I don't have the dimensions for that one, but the proposed addition is 30 by 70, which is 2,100 feet again, and maybe there's something, another 50 feet of a vestibule.
My architect had called me and said that according to the size of the parcel, he says we could actually add on a little bit extra. So I think that's probably where the discrepancy comes in, because I think he tacked on another, I don't know what it was, 4 or 5 feet or whatever we can get off the back.
Right.
That's probably the discrepancy.
And that's one of the reasons I'm asking, because we are looking at what's submitted tonight in front of us, size-wise. You can always decrease the variance request, but cannot increase the variance request. And the reason being for that is that the public has to be notified of your proposed addition of being X amount of square feet. If we don't notify somebody that you're going to go another 100 and 140 feet more, we can get in trouble. So that's just to keep it legal and in black and white. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So are you good with confirming that your dimensions you have here, regardless of the square foot, is correct?
The dimensions on the preliminary site plan or on the actual conceptual design plan?
I'm on the preliminary site plans, what I'm looking at, 30 by 70. I haven't got to the other one.
I think the conceptual plan itself was going to be like somewhere around 20, think when he finally got it put together, it was about 2,300 square feet, if we did it as drawn.
Well, what are we talking about? You say 2,100, variance says he's asking for 2,240, now he's up to 2,300, so what are we doing?
2,240, because I don't know what, I don't have my exact number down here that the architect gave me that dimension.
So if we act on 2,240, that's okay with you?
Yes,
That answers that question.
thank you.
Yes, I would assume that the 70-foot width, I'll call it the width, would stay the same, so the 30-foot is actually a wrong number. It should be 31 point something, 32. We just need to lock it in. Let me do some quick math.
Well, 2 more feet on 7 is 140 square feet, so 21 and 140 is 2,240.
Yep.
I think it is.
Yep.
So the 30 should be 32, well, the 30 should be 32.
Correct. Site plan.
Yeah,
So we'll go with 32 and with 2240.
yeah, which changes, maybe either here or there, but it changes the setback from 217 to 215. Okay. All right, does anybody else have any follow-up questions, or?
I'm good.
All right, sir, do you have anything else to add for the record?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and we'll close the hearing at 6:11.
Mr. Chairman, could I
Yes, sir.
make a comment here? It should be for the record that during this public hearing, there was no neighbors here to give any opinion that were against this.
Good point.
For the record.
Good point, thank you.
I sent out a letter to my neighbor. I really only got one neighbor because he bought the farm and the next door. And I sent him a letter. I just hadn't seen him for probably half a year, so letting him know what I was going to do. Also just wanted to let him know that if he had any concerns, he could come over, because this is the best time to change plans. I also told him I am not going to do any grooming, I'm not going to do any kenneling, so that way noise is going to be not an issue. If they have any concerns with traffic, let me know. I sent that letter out about a month ago, just to let them know what we're up to, and I would be open to any concerns.
Do you have any documentation from that neighbor that you can share with us?
He didn't contact me back.
Okay.
I did fax him a letter.
Okay, so he was notified, and that neighbor is not here, so there's no objection. For the record.
Well, okay, has the township received anything through the mail or email or anything?
Not to my knowledge, I have nothing there. Could you please give us the neighbor that you're referring to?
Well, he would have got a notice from the township.
Yeah, he
Yes.
got noticed
But the town-
anyway.
Township gives out notices,
Up to 300 feet.
which is not that far, but it's your immediate neighbor.
I'm sorry, I just know him as Bob, so I
Okay.
apologize. I thought I had a copy of the letter that I faxed him.
Would he be the neighbor to the north of you then?
And south of me. His main residence is, I'm sorry, it would be to the east of me.
The east, okay.
The big house.
His main residence, yeah.
Yeah, the new house.
Farm off the Dr. Klepper, and so it's got 3 tenants there.
Okay.
I apologize. If I didn't have that
Could you notify the township and let somebody know, and we'll add it into the minutes?
one. Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, would that be acceptable?
Yeah.
Just call in and do call the township and just, reference the case, and that name, that you have a name of your neighbor for this particular case for the CBA, and we'll put it in the minutes.
Would you like me to fax you the letter that I sent him? Bring it in the copy?
Yeah, I think that'd be good for the record, yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking at Lisa, because she works in the office, so that we could come in.
Number,
Yeah.
That number, otherwise I'll walk over.
I can't give it to you off the top of my head.
That's okay, no problem. It's like,
But we'll catch it though. So that's the main thing is that we get it for, so it's on the record.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll just entertain motion and follow procedure. First, do you members have any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none, I'd like to open up the public hearing just to go through the formality at 6:15. Would anybody from the public like to speak on this matter? Okay, going once, twice, 3 times. We'll close the public hearing at 6:15 and a half. Okay, and then just, obviously, there's no action tonight. We deliberate, do our research, homework, whatever, and then get back for deliberate next month. All right. All right. That's closed. All right, so moving on to the next case. Case number 18-4, applicant Peter and Kathleen Perazzo, parcel address 350 Timber Trail, Leonard, Michigan, 48367. Parcel ID is 0527426011. Parcel size estimated at 10.57 acres. Zoning is suburban farms. The hearing this applicant seeks is a dimensional variance from the Township of Addison Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Addison Township Zoning Ordinance. The applicant requests a variance for the placement of a 26 by 18 by 10.6 tall accessory structure completely in the front yard, reference to 4.21.2b. Article 4, Section 4.212b says, accessory buildings in the A, RE, SE, and SF districts, unless specifically provided for otherwise elsewhere in this ordinance, accessory buildings in the A, RE, SE, and SF districts shall be subject to the following regulations. An accessory building located in the RE, SE, or SF district shall meet the minimum yard setback requirements of the district in which the accessory building or structure is located and shall not be located in the front yard. Okay. Sir, do you have anything to update or?
No changes. I was thinking about having a bigger building, but I didn't want to restart the clock. So.
Sorry.
No, that's
just procedure.
not a problem. It'll all fit. I just
Good.
Build a shelf in there. Do any of you have any questions to help clarify this? Help get a thumbs up.
I have a question. Last month you were talking about increasing the size of your structure.
Yeah, I found out that to do that, I'd have to resubmit the proposal, and I didn't want to go through that, so.
Okay, so it's back to original.
Yeah, I'm just going to build a shelf inside, and if I made it bigger, I wouldn't have to put some of that equipment up on shelves, but I'll just go with the original plan of the shelf inside. So we can make do with that. So I guess just one question I have is, were there any objections from my neighbors on this? Nothing from the public?
I have not received anything.
I wouldn't expect so. But I know
Yeah,
the neighbors are.
no, there was nothing that we received.
So, the reason we wanted to put the building where it is first off, that's one of the few level spots that's adjacent to the driveway in our property. The property is very sloped, very challenging slope-wise, which is one of the reasons I like the property, in all honesty. It's got a little character to it. But we can't put the building to the east side of the house because there's a buried power line. Plus, that is also on a slope. And to the west side of the house is the well, and again, it's very sloped. And can't put it behind the house because that's even worse. That goes down to a watershed. And it is not safe to drive. Even my four-wheel drive tractor, I do not bring into the backyard during the winter. I did that once and almost went down the hill. Fortunately, I got the bucket down and stopped the tractor. So, and the intent of this is to put the truck and all of the tractor equipment in this building. For those of you that may have gone out to see, you see I've got a lot of farm implements sitting out in the yard. My wife doesn't like it. My neighbors haven't complained, but I don't like having my stuff get rusted. So as far as the setback goes, we're about 225 foot. The building will be 225 foot approximately from our neighbor's property line, and that is their backyard. So our property, our front yard looks into the neighbor's backyard because they use Rochester Road as our front property line, and there's houses, properties between me and Rochester Road. So you cannot see my house from that part of Rochester Road probably any time of the year. The only place you can see my house is from this side of Rochester Road, excuse me, from where Rochester Road is.
Over there, right?
Three sides of my house.
Over there.
Yeah, the one way over there across the watershed. During the summer, we can see two houses and we can see that part of Rochester Road. During the winter, we still don't see the Rochester Road that is considered my front property line, but we see a lot more houses on the other section of Rochester Road. So, and this spot won't require us to remove any mature trees, which is another nice thing. Trying to be a good steward of the land. But as I said, it's in my neighbor's backyard. They're not looking at it from their front yard. I look at their backyard and they just did an extension on their property as well. So, like I say, I'm over 200 foot from them, which I think is like 4 or 5 times the setback. So the only real issue is I'm trying to put this in my front yard, and it's about in the middle of that 10 and a half acre parcel, off by maybe 50 feet or so from the center of the parcel.
Okay.
Questions? Can you clarify?
Well, I wasn't at the original hearing, but I reviewed the minutes. So your driveway goes into the cul-de-sac, correct?
I had an easement from my neighbor Randy
Yeah.
to get into the cul-de-sac. That is actually mine. And then from there, it curves around to the house. It's about 1,000 foot from Rochester Road
Right.
along my driveway to the house. And this is at the end of the driveway closest to the garage.
Okay.
Like I said, it's one of the few level spots. There were no live trees there. Did pull out 4 stumps. But that's where that's been my compost pile for the past 8 years. So it was getting pretty leveled anyhow, just because I'm constantly tilling it. And all that dirt has gone into redoing the lawn and the flower beds. So.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Have you and Randy the only 2 people on the cul-de-sac?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I thought.
Randy and Dave were high school buddies. They bought the property and then split it up. Yes, sir.
Have you talked to your neighbors about this?
Yes, Randy knows I'm doing this.
Okay, just Randy?
Yeah, I haven't talked to the other.
I just wonder if there was any negative feedback.
No, I haven't. I mean, obviously you sent them a flyer, but they just added a garage to their property that extends into the backyard. And the way they got that approved is they did a breezeway between the house or between the front porch.
Attached it to the
Yeah,
house.
so it's attached to the house. I can't do that. Unless I want to put it right in front of my house. So, yeah, no, I didn't go over there to talk to them, but I figured they got notified. Right now, when they go into their backyard where they can actually see my property, they're looking at a wooden shed that was there when we bought the place. This will be a nicer building that will hide that wooden shed. So it'll actually be an improvement on what they see. And I have a carport in there, just campus carport, that will come down. So it really is an improvement I want people to see.
I guess I'd like to just point out that in this township, we define the front of your house as the side that faces your road frontage.
Yeah.
This property has 0 road frontage.
Well, there's actually a calculation on that. I mean, geometrically.
But it's,
On a cul-de-sac, your cul-de-sac is round, okay?
but he has no frontage on the cul-de-sac. He has an easement through that.
Well, actually, the cul-de-sac belongs to me.
Yeah, it's not a public road. I mean, there is no road frontage for this property. It's
Right.
totally landlocked.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that access easement that you were granted, you wouldn't be able to get to your property.
Yes. In fact, that's how the previous owner got half of this lot.
Sure.
Was
So there is no road frontage, so talking about the front of the house, the back of the house, the side of the house, a little arbitrary.
Yeah, and how it was explained to me to derive where your front is on a unique piece like that, it's a good point, Tony. If you take the cul-de-sac and put a pin right in the middle, a center point, and then draw that from a straight line to the house, somewhere in the middle of the house, or the front door even, that angle, bisected perpendicular, that's your front. So his front is actually on his side a little bit, his you know.
If that was a public or private road, I'd agree with you, but it's not. There's no road.
What does your address say?
350 Timber Trail.
There you go.
So,
That's the road.
Yeah, that's
That's the address to this property.
Yeah, but who gave him the address?
Yeah, we've done this before. You can make whatever address you
I
like.
can make any address you want.
yeah.
No, you can't.
Pretty-
There is
The
a,
ordinance says, the ordinance clearly states that the piece of the property that faces the road, okay, road being where your driveway comes in, where your address is defined as the front yard. That's what that states. We've been through that in other cases on the lake, you know, that I understand, but the ordinance is very clear on that.
Yeah, it's just an odd front yard, the way everything is positioned.
We've had several cul-de-sac cases before, as you know.
But cul-de-sacs, public roads. This property does not.
But I think no matter how we look at it, guys,
Okay.
the front is still the front where he wants to put the piece.
Right.
The-
Unless you call this lakefront property, which then the watershed.
Well, no, that doesn't help you. Yes.
You got another problem there.
Only the road matters to where the front of the house is.
And, you know, wherever you consider the front, doesn't really matter.
You're still in it. You're still in the front, no matter which way you put it, either the north or the northeast or...
I went through all that scheming beforehand, and it's like, I need to be able to put this in the front because that's the only place that's level that I can put a building like this. It's not that big of a building, but it's big enough to put my truck and all my tractor's toys.
You know, from the definition of the ordinance, he definitely is not supposed to be able to do this, that's why he's here for the variance. Now, the question is what are our standards, what's the justification? This isn't a question for you, this is a question for our board. But, you know, what is our justification for giving him the variance? Has he met the criteria that we're supposed to address, you know, in the granting of the variance? I wasn't here at the meeting, so I'm not going to second
Which,
guess you.
I should get this out, because I meant to do it 5 minutes ago. Just for the record, so Eric Sent and Bob DeWitt were not here at last meeting, therefore they will not be voting on this tonight. They can participate and ask and, you know, join in for anything else besides the vote.
And that's why I'm phrasing the question the way I am doing for the rest of the board, is have we met the justifications for granting the variance?
Well, we haven't granted anything yet.
No, I mean, have we found any evidence to justify?
That's something that each of us are probably,
So you're talking about practical hardship, and
yeah.
there is, in my opinion at least, we'll get into it later maybe, but there is a practical hardship with
we're in the-
following the ordinance.
Yeah.
You can't.
Isn't that the wrong word to use?
Practical difficulty. There you go. Yeah, that's what I say.
You said
I like legitimate, practical,
hard, you said hardness.
difficult.
Oh, hard, okay, sorry.
Legitimate.
That's really the question. We can all say that there's practical difficulty for a lot of reasons, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's money but those are things we're supposed to ignore.
That's right.
If you walk the land, you see real quick that the slopes don't give me a lot of choices with this building. And the building itself is set back significantly from the neighbors. So it shouldn't pose an eyesore or you know, concern from that perspective. The property is so heavily wooded, nobody is going to see it. You got to look for it.
Well, one of the criteria that, you know, that Mr. DeWitt just mentioned, one of the criteria is, you know, if we would grant a variance, you know, would it be different than we would give anybody else? Okay, it can't be, you know, so there's a number of considerations here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're ready to make a motion and grant or deny, if I could.
Well, the only other thing I'd like to bring up before we do that is that the zoning on this property is suburban farms, which is 2-acre minimum. And it's a 10.5-acre parcel. So at least theoretically, it could be split. I've been to the property, and again, there is no road frontage. So I don't believe the township would agree to a split of that property without having a road put in somehow, somewhere.
Good question. Another comment. If it is 10-point-some acres, it qualifies for agriculture. It is SF and can be split. If there is a variance on this serial number, does that stop any further splits?
Okay.
Because doesn't it now become non-conforming?
It's up for the township to decide.
I mean, you get what I'm saying, there's a variance on the serial number. Does that restrict what can be done in the future?
I think we should look at not the size of the piece, but his hardships with topography, well, septic, trees.
Shouldn't we
And that's a good point, maybe not taking consideration as you some of you would for the size, because it could be split.
I will never split it.
You may not. In 100 years, somebody else might.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we have to consider too, is if you were to grant this variance, we can't, it seems to me there should be some strings attached to it in the sense that it could never be split.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
but when you ask for a variance, you have, now, I don't know if it's legal or technical, but you have a non-conforming something there, right?
Right.
Because it doesn't conform, and if we allow it, it's non-conforming.
Right.
We can go round and round on this, I guess. You know, if somebody wants to split it, tear the building down and, you know, split it. So it's not like it's in a concrete footing, it's only in helicoil screws to anchor it down. Even if it wasn't a footing, the split is more
Still.
valuable than that,
Sure.
than that shed.
There's also the road that is to the east of us is a private road, but there are 4 houses on it. They could always say, oh, well, I want my address over there, which happens to be a Rochester road. For some reason, that private road, they're all Rochester road addresses. When I come off of there, of course, I have to get permission from the owner. Then my front yard would be on the west side,
Right, and
the
you'd be-
east side of my house.
and this would be in the
It would
backyard.
an issue, but
One last point, and that is, because of the acreage, if this were zoned agricultural, in fact, you can have an accessory building in your front yard.
But that's not in front of us.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, it's just a
I'm
comment.
saying that the property meets all the requirements of agricultural, except that it's not zoned agricultural. And I'm not suggesting the applicant go through the process of rezoning his property, I'm not saying that. But, you know, if it were truly agricultural, the next 4.21.2.c.1 says that you can have an accessory building in agricultural, accessory building in your front yard.
That's right.
Eric, do you have a question? Or a comment?
No, I got a comment, 2 things. I heard a lot of discussion about frontage, and I heard that there is no frontage, there's no frontage on this property. That can't be.
No, there is.
There has to be frontage.
There absolutely is.
Second, I heard about the splitting in the future, you know, how that variance, if we would grant it, goes with it. I think we really need to be sure on this before you guys make a ruling. You know, I'm not part of that, okay? It's just my comments. The frontage with the road, if it's that ambiguous, that this has no frontage,
No frontage.
I think it should go to legal.
when I was researching this, what it said is that when you've got like a parallel road, it's whatever side is the longest roughly parallel to that, which is the north side, which is what is considered the front yard. I'm not disputing that my front yard is where my front yard is.
Okay.
You consider the front yard to be the front yard.
No, I consider the watershed to be my front yard,
Right, okay.
but that's beside the point.
Okay.
I'm not arguing that that's
Yeah.
not the front yard or the plot line. I might have, if I were building this, I might have tried to get that changed at that point, but it is the front yard. I want to put a building in the front yard. My wife's tired of seeing all my toys in the yard. And this is the only way I really can resolve it, because I can't even go put it off to the side, because that all slopes down into the watershed or into the lake.
Understood. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the only reason I made that comment is that for the record, you know, we are talking the front yard.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's still in the front. If it's to the north, that's the front. If it's to the west, off the cul-de-sac, that's, from the west, look,
It would still be
you'll
the
pass
front
that,
yard.
you'll pass this down. This is
I got the same picture.
Yeah.
the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I know.
Draw point to point
Yeah.
and do your 90. this is the front,
Yep.
which is kind of his side front. But neither here or there, that proposed building is still in a front.
North by northwest, right?
Okay, so if that's established, the next thing is, does it meet criteria? Like Mr. DeVitt mentioned earlier, for granting a variance.
Oh, right. Yes, I think it,
Okay, so you're ready for a motion?
oh, I'm not saying I'm going to motion, I'm just saying, yes, I think he has some legitimate difficulties here. Do you want me to do the motion? I'll do the motion.
You can't.
Yeah, chairman can't.
You can, but you can't.
What would you like it to say?
I can't tell you now.
Oh, yes, you can. I mean, you can express your point.
Well, like I said, his challenges is the topography. I look to where, if I was to do it, I'd do it on the garage side of the house, right next to around, but have you been out there? You see how it goes just drastically down, about 30, 35 feet to the watershed. You have the watershed.
Well, and
You have the
septic,
well.
electric lines and...
Electric, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other side note is it is on 10 acres today. But I'm not trying to influence anybody on just exposing what I see.
Okay, then I guess I'll make a motion that we approve the requested variance based on the topography of the property, the likelihood that this property would never be split, and the practical difficulty of, putting it anywhere in the side or rear yard of this property.
I can't be part of the motion.
No.
Are your findings also to do with electrical, Detroit Edison power line? Did you mention that?
I don't remember if I did or not, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's the well and septic on the one side of the property and the electrical line feeding the property from the other side. Mostly the topography, and even if those lines weren't there, it's still not suitable for putting a garage there. It's principally topography.
Okay, Lisa, could you read that back to us best you could?
Tony made a motion to approve based on topography of property and the difficulty of building.
Okay,
And you have to listen to the recording for the,
right. Basically, I think, Tony, what you're saying is your findings are that due to topography, the well and septic location and obstruction of doing it anywhere else on the property is your reason for granting the variance.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody have any friendly amendments, or are we good with that? Hearing none, I'd like to take a roll call vote.
You don't have a second yet.
No, my bad.
Am I correct?
You're right.
Okay, well, I'm correct. I'll second that motion.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second for granting the variance. And when Lisa's ready, we'll take a roll call vote.
Tony Spina,
Yes.
Robert DeWitt,
Nope,
No.
can't.
Can't.
Eric and Bob can't.
Tony Spina,
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith,
Yes?
Bill Marshall,
Yes.
Chair Hayward.
Yes.
Okay.
Your variance has been granted.
This has been an education.
Well, you have a unique piece, and it's a challenge for us. We want to do the right thing, but we don't want to give it away, so.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very
And-
much.
Yeah, there are lots of things that could have caused us to go the other way on a different piece of property, but, you know, you're unique. I think you'd agree.
Yeah, which is what I like about the place.
Of course. Okay.
Very good. All right, thank you. Okay. I guess we're going to move on to other business. I have not received any correspondence. Nope, no correspondence. Or anything for zoning board reports. Besides, we are going to see another, I believe, we're going to see another outbuilding front yard variance case coming. I don't know why it's the year for outbuilding variances, but
We tend to go through streaks of things, it seems like.
it seems like it. The septic fields on the lake,
Septic fields on the lake.
outbuildings.
Yeah.
Lawrence, do you have?
Before we close the meeting, I'd like to ask, did the doctor leave?
He did.
I got you before you left. I'd have one more question that I didn't realize I'd like to ask. Is there no possibility you buy any more property there?
I had spoken with Bob before about buying a little bit more to the back at one time, but we just kind of left that out there. So.
Yeah, your problem, though, isn't the back, it's the sides.
Oh, to the sides? No, there would be no purchasing property to the sides.
So, I mean, your property lines are where they are, obviously, and you have people on both sides quite close. The other option would be to go to the back. Is the back all vacant behind you?
Yes, right out to Pollyann Trail, and there's another 40 acres back there that belongs to Bob.
And
But you
obviously,
can't, you cross.
obviously you don't talk to him very often, so it's never come up about buying property to the rear, right?
Yeah, I had originally thought that it would be nice to buy back to the Pollyann Trail just for whatever reason, and know whether if they're going to subdivide back there or something, but it doesn't look like that's.
Do you know how many feet it is from the back of your property line to the Pollyann Trail?
I'd be hazarding a guess,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I mean, okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Lawrence, do you have any report on the planning commission for?
Everything's quiet. We don't have a meeting this month, and everything, there's nothing up in the air that I know of.
Okay. I need to open up the public forum. For what it's worth. We'll open up the public forum at 6:47. Anybody in the public want to speak? Hearing none, we'll be closing the public forum at 6:48. That's it. Anybody would like to motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And a second, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.